It's Tuesday, August 4th. Today, back on board. The WestJet strike comes to an end, but passenger frustration rolls on. What travelers need to know about compensation. Also today, a lot of unanswered questions. The decision to open Manitoba's first safe consumption site is garnering mixed reaction. And later, watching each other's back. Community rallies to help the Ghana Pavilion replace stolen outfits ahead of Folklorama. Your morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Daniel Homerson, joined by Tandy Vera on your Tuesday morning. I hope everyone had a safe, long weekend. Did you?
Had a great one. It was nice. I did a picnic outside. Great weather for that.
Awesome. Good to hear. It is August, which means Folklorama is here. And all week, actually, the next couple of weeks, Ainsley's going to be taking a little tour around the world. She starts in the Pearl of the Orient Philippine Pavilion today, so we're going to learn all about that throughout the show. Pretty nice weekend in terms of weather. A little cool yesterday, a little rain this morning. How's it shaping up?
It's going to be cool today as well, but we're going to have a mix of sun and clouds, so very dry day for the rest of the day. We did have those early morning showers about 2 a.m. here in Winnipeg. It's currently 11 degrees, partly cloudy outside, winds gusting west at 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 95%. So yes, woke up to those very early morning showers about 2 to 3 a.m. We had those very light rainfall. That's because of a low pressure system that was coming in, going to the wrong side, coming in and has tapered off into eastern Ontario. For us today, it's mostly going to be a dry one, but I do want to note up in the north right now, they are experiencing some light rain shower according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, and that's in Churchill as well as Thompson, and that's because of that low pressure system that came in from the west and has tapered off into the east. Now for us, it's going to mostly be clear. We might have a little bit of light precipitation throughout the day, but not likely. 10% chance according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But looking across, it's mostly going to be clear for us, but by tomorrow we do have that 60% chance of showers as well as a 60% chance of thunderstorms. So we have that risk of thunderstorms. That's because another low pressure system has been forming out into the west that's likely to taper into the province. So you just want to keep that of note tomorrow. Yes, it's going to be a hot one, 26 degrees, but it will taper into most of southern Manitoba as well as up into the north. But it's going to clear up by the rest of Thursday evening as well as Thursday morning, It's 21 degrees is going to be our high today. It's a very cool start for us, not too hot, not too cold. So it's going to be a nice day to just go out for a walk.
Provinces like Alberta and Ontario have either scrapped or reduced funding for safe consumption sites, but here in Manitoba, the first one is officially opening this month. As CTV's Alex Karpa reports, this decision is garnering mixed reaction.
This was the day where we had to make that decision to take him off life support.
Joseph Forey lost his 31-year-old son, Harlan, to a fentanyl overdose in 2023. He himself is also a former crystal meth user and a heroin addict and has been in recovery for almost 7 years. He says he's against the Manitoba government's decision to open a safe consumption site.
I'm very frustrated that the province is heading in this direction.
For years, Forey lived around consumption sites in other provinces and says he saw firsthand the impact on people struggling with addiction and the community these sites were in.
It was actually the place where I got introduced to heroin, because this is where drug dealers would congregate, knowing that people visiting the site would need drugs to use.
Manitoba's first supervised consumption site, created to address a growing overdose and drug crisis in Winnipeg, will provide drug testing and a space to use drugs with staff on hand. Advocate Marion Willis says the key for this plan to succeed is if the site offers safe supply.
A safe consumption site that administers, that offers safer supply, is offering a message of hope and recovery to its consumers.
Several consumption sites have recently been closed and defunded in Ontario and Alberta. Ian Colbert says this is a concern.
That means people who are going to be using these substances anyway are going to be doing it without any support, If there is a poisoning, no one will be there to help them.
This site will be open on August 11th and will be operational on set times between Tuesday and Saturday, with the province saying this approach will provide Manitobans with a more secure and controlled environment. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Manitoba's police watchdog is investigating after a woman was shot by a Winnipeg police officer Monday morning. According to a news release, an officer was in the area of Aiken Street and College Avenue when he heard the sound of gunshots nearby. When he arrived at the scene, he was allegedly confronted by an 18-year-old woman and a 16-year-old youth. According to police, a use of force encounter occurred, a police service firearm was discharged, and the woman was injured. Emergency medical care was immediately provided to the 18-year-old woman, and she was transported to hospital in unstable condition, later upgraded to stable condition. Police say the woman and youth were linked to a shooting that occurred outside a home in the 300 block of College Avenue. At the same time, the youth was arrested. Police said they recovered a firearm at the scene, and the Independent Investigation Unit of Manitoba is now investigating the incident. Hundreds of homes have been swallowed up by a sprawling wildfire in Washington state. Flames swept the parched landscape this weekend, forcing people to flee. Some returned home to find nothing but ashes. CTV's Joy Melvin reports.
Terrifying scenes as more than a dozen wildfires scorch Washington state. More than 60,000 people forced to flee their homes.
Oh my God.
3 major fires are burning out of control near Spokane. Hundreds of buildings and homes charred and left in ruins.
I don't think I'm going to rebuild here because I don't ever want to have to relive a fire coming up this hill again.
Returning to what's left for some, there's nothing but heartbreak.
And I lost my dog Diamond, and my little daughter lost her kitty cat Bubbles, and I lost Henny Penny, my chicken. It's hard, but I'm thankful that my children and my grandchildren all made it out of the property.
Firefighters battling some of the worst wildfires here in 3 decades, driven by drought, dry, hot and windy conditions, and supercharged by climate change.
That's devastating. It's something we've never seen before. It's a fire that just moved quickly. As our crews went in, it's something that hadn't been seen before.
Officials believe most people have evacuated, but are chasing down reports more than a dozen people could be missing.
We are encouraging people who have not been able to contact a friend or neighbor or relative to file an official report so that we can do, law enforcement can do welfare checks.
The fires are expected to burn for weeks, already consuming 7,000 acres. Spokane had the worst air quality in America.
The impact on people's lives is truly profound. I'm deeply appreciative for all the first responders.
The governor's declared a state of emergency and says he spoke to the president about the urgency for direct federal aid and support as they struggle to get these fires under control.
Another Canadian is preparing for the journey of a lifetime. Joshua Kutrick was one of 4 astronauts introduced in Houston Monday as they prepare for a mission to the International Space Station.
For me, I would just spend a few minutes here to talk about the enormous sense of gratitude that the 4 of us feel for everyone who has gone into making this mission possible. You know, personally, myself, I grew up on a cattle farm in Canada. It's a long way from being here with this mission in front of us. But the one thing that has resonated at every twist and turn in that journey has been the complexity of these missions, and because of that, the enormity of the teams that go into pulling missions like this off. So we need to say thank you to everyone.
The Alberta native and his crewmates will spend 6 months in orbit, conducting experiments and maintenance work. NASA released images from the space station showing the view Kutrick will have during his time up there. Liftoff from Florida is scheduled for September 12th. In April, fellow Canadian Jeremy Hansen flew around the moon during the Artemis II mission. Tens of thousands of people gathered in Bolivia over the weekend. They were there to take part in one of the country's largest cultural celebrations. 87,000 dancers took part in the parade. Attendees celebrated the event in colorful and elaborate outfits. The festival blends Catholic and Indigenous traditions, with attendees from neighboring countries like Peru and Chile taking part. Taking a look at the early traffic there on the Norwood Bridge. Not much to show you. If you have any traffic tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400. And CTV's Ainsley McPhail is live this morning down in St. Norbert as Folklorama is well underway. How you doing, Ainsley?
Oh, so well. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you're well rested and ready to take on Folklorama, as you know I am. 55 years of Folklorama, and guess what? 50 years of the Pearl of the Orient Pavilion, and that's the theme this year. 50 years of magic. A little bit of a throwback, but also taking you through the hustle and bustle of the Philippines. Everything from a sari-sari store to street vendors and even some karaoke. That's a lot of fun. Performances, that's what Folklorama is all about, and they have over 180 different performers, and including that, with volunteers, 300 people really rally and show out during Folklorama. There are 45 different pavilions, so if you want to pavilion hop and take in multiple different cultures, the Heart of Romania and the Salvadorian Pavilion, those two are brand new.
Awesome. Well, taking a look up on the rooftop, Tandy Bear up there, it's a little cooler than what we saw last week. Very humid some mornings, but cool start to your short work week.
Yes, very cool start to the day. There's a bit of a chill to it, but it is very nice and cool. And that's what we have on tap for most of the province today. Cool temperatures across. It's currently 11 degrees, partly cloudy outside. Winds gusting west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. So across the province, we're going to be experiencing these cool temperatures to start off the morning and for the rest of the day. Not too high, especially with the heat that we've been experiencing. So a nice little change from that. I do want to note right now in Thompson and Churchill, they are experiencing some light precipitation in the form of light rain shower, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. For us here in Winnipeg, we did have those early morning showers. I woke up and the ground was wet from that light rain. It wasn't too intense. We do have that risk of a thunderstorm tomorrow, and that's for most of southern Manitoba. So that's just something to keep of note when planning out your day, with that risk of a thunderstorm in the late afternoon time. But for today, our highs mostly going to be 21 degrees. Very cool. These winds will increase throughout the morning, so you just want to keep that of note. Winds will gust probably between 30 to 25 kilometers per hour, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But right now, it's a very cool start. As I keep saying, I'm feeling that chill, wishing I'd grabbed a little light coat with me. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
WestJet says it's now working to restore service back to normal. The Calgary-based airline and CUPE, the union representing flight attendants, struck a tentative deal yesterday. That ended a disruptive work stoppage that started Sunday morning. CTV's Jean-Pierre Boschman on the deal and the next steps.
After that one day on the picket line, WestJet's flight attendants are heading back on board with a tentative deal that the union says addresses issues of unpaid work and wages.
Passengers and the public in general has been incredible on this issue of unpaid work. I think it resonates with Canadians. It's a fairness conversation.
The union will brief members before releasing details, but WestJet said the deal reflects the hard work of its flight attendants, adding, "We know this disruption has been frustrating for our guests and WestJetters, and we're sorry for that." While the strike and lockout notices were scrubbed within 30 hours, the brief work stoppage was disruptive and costly.
This is not the way we have to run a business in the 21st century, especially when air travel is such a key element of our economy, of our society.
This one summer after the strike over some of the same contentious issues at Air Canada, including claims of unpaid hours. Flight attendants in North America have generally been paid hourly for time in the air, with a supplement or flight credit for duties before and after wheels up, like safety checks, helping passengers with luggage. The union at WestJet says this can add up to about 35 unpaid hours per month, and that the tentative deal more accurately reflects the time worked.
It improves on the long-standing flight credit system by recognizing more of the work that cabin crew are required to perform and increasing the compensation for that work.
It's not clear how that will compare to the pay structure now in place at Air Canada.
The union in that case wanted 100 cents on the dollar. They ultimately agreed to a step grid where it ultimately went to about 70% of an hourly rate for up to an hour.
And unlike the Air Canada dispute, Ottawa did not step in. And in a post on X, the federal Minister of Jobs and Families said the federal government and Canadians welcome the news that the parties have reached a deal together at the bargaining table. The union said it was important the agreement was reached through the collective bargaining process with no government intervention. It's to be ratified within 30 days.
WestJet and the union say they're working hard to ramp up operations and get back to normal as soon as possible. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Winnipeg firefighters responded to 4 blazes Sunday night, including one at a vacant restaurant on Main Street that was hit during an arson spree last year. Fire crews responded to the shuttered Bougie restaurant at just after 5:30 p.m. Sunday. Firefighters arrived to find heavy smoke coming from the building and spent 4 hours battling the blaze, getting it under control at 9:40 p.m. Crews remained on scene overnight, extinguishing hotspots. No one was found inside the building and no injuries were reported. The WFPS said the building suffered significant fire, water, and smoke damage. The restaurant was previously damaged by fire in October 2025, which was later determined to be arson. Meantime, hundreds of firefighters are battling a wildfire in southern Greece as black smoke and flames move across the country. This is the scene in communities affected by the blaze. Damaged homes and vehicles could be seen amid a trail of destruction left behind. More than 400 firefighters and several aircraft are joining in the fight against the flames. Greece is one of the several countries being ravaged by wildfires in Europe this summer. Other countries like France and Spain have also been hit hard. It's not clear where the U.S. and the Iran stand right now in terms of ceasefire talks.
Many countries called, the leaders of many are friendly with a lot of them, almost all of them, one way or the other, and they all wanted to give this a last chance. This is a last chance.
U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday said talks were happening, calling it a last chance for Iran to sign a deal. Tehran, however, denies there are any negotiations that are ongoing or scheduled. Its president this morning did say Iran will defend its borders but is not seeking a wider war. There are also reports this morning of a cargo ship being hit in the Strait of Hormuz. This happened off the coast of Oman. Marineland near Niagara Falls has relocated 7 more of its beluga whales to the U.S. The whales were taken to SeaWorld in San Antonio as part of the second phase of the relocation. 6 belugas were moved last month to San Antonio and the Shed Aquarium in Chicago. Marineland has agreed to relocate all 30 of its beluga whales to locations in the U.S. and Spain. The move is expected to be done by the end of the month. No shopper enjoys high food prices, but at least they can enjoy this song.
But every time I visit my local grocery store, every week the prices are up a little more.
Kevin Westphal is a Kitchener, Ontario musician, and he's behind Food Inflation Blues. He got the idea for the song during a conversation with a grocery store manager. Westphal is known for his tongue-in-cheek takes on current issues. He calls his songs an attempt to drive change through humor. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Portage, at least 1 lane in both directions will be closed between St. James and Empress Street. The westbound curb lane on Provencher Boulevard will be closed from Nadeau to Desmurin, and Doncaster Street will be closed between Ubique Crescent and Corden Avenue. Text those traffic tips to us at 10400.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
11 degrees right now, cool start to the day, but that sunshine's beginning to peek through. Winds gusting west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. So 11 degrees, very cool start to the day. Looking at the currents across the province, step out of the way here. Gimli at 10 degrees right now, Portage at 11 degrees. Brandon, very chill start to the day with 7 degrees on tap for them. Dauphin at 11 degrees. Swan River also at 11 degrees, and looking up into Flin Flon, 11 degrees. Lynn Lake, 11 degrees. So those are just the average temperatures we're getting for this morning. Churchill, 11 degrees. Do you want to note they're experiencing some light rain shower at the moment? Thompson, 10 degrees. It just stopped raining according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, with Island Lake at 12 degrees. Now looking at our satellite image, not too much to show you. We did have those early morning showers due to a low pressure system that came in from the west that has now tapered into the east. So Eastern Ontario is experiencing some precipitation and also some thunderstorms according to Environment Climate Change Canada. We do have that risk for us on tap for tomorrow. But looking at our currents for today, 14 degrees by the time it's 8 a.m. Very low winds. By the time it's 2 p.m., those winds will increase, gusting west at 30 kilometers per hour. 20 degrees, so not too bad. 21 degrees by 5 p.m. That's going to be our high today. So a very cool day with that mix of sun and cloud on tap for us. So we're going to get a mixture of that sunshine peeking through at some points, but that cloud coverage will increase throughout the morning, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. And looking at our 7-day forecast, our high today, 21 degrees. Tomorrow, 26 degrees, with that 60% chance of precipitation, as well as that risk of thunderstorms in the late afternoon. So something to keep of note. But for the rest of the week, it's mostly going to be dry weather on tap for us with lots of sunshine, and those temperatures will be increasing, so we can enjoy the coolness for today to keep off note. And looking at our beautiful pic of the day from Shelley in Stonewall. I love the sunflowers. Please keep those pictures coming at Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
It's been a hot summer, and chances are you've been using your vehicle's air conditioner almost every day. If your car has a stale or musty smell when you turn on your air conditioning, the problem could be hiding in your dashboard. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
Have you noticed an unpleasant smell coming from your car's air vents? Before you start searching under the seats for gym clothes or spilled food, the source may be something much more common.
What you're probably smelling is condensation from the evaporator inside your heating and cooling system. Basically, water collects in that area, and if it sits for long enough, it creates that musty smell.
Your vehicle's air conditioning system creates condensation. Most of that water drains underneath the car, which is why you may occasionally notice a small puddle beneath it. But if moisture lingers inside the evaporator housing, it can create the perfect environment for mold and bacteria to grow, causing odors every time you turn on the fan. Fortunately, fixing the problem doesn't require a trip to the repair shop. Start by opening the windows and setting the interior fan to a low speed. Then use a disinfectant spray such as Lysol or a cleaner specifically designed for automotive air conditioning systems. Spray it into the vehicle's fresh air intake, also known as the plenum.
The plenum can be found at the base of your windshield where the wipers are located. This is where the air comes from that goes into your heating and cooling system.
With the engine running and the fan turned on, spray the cleaner into both sides of the plenum intake. The ventilation system will pull the disinfectant through the ductwork, helping kill odor-causing bacteria and freshen the air inside the vehicle. Keep the windows open during the process to help air out the car. And if your vehicle has a cabin air filter, it's recommended to remove it before spraying the cleaner so the disinfectant can circulate more effectively through the system. Also consider replacing the filter altogether. A dirty cabin filter can restrict airflow, affect system performance, and contribute to unpleasant odors. And replacing it yourself can save you both time and money. Pat Foran, CTV News.
A young horse lover in southwest Ontario is rising through the ranks in the world of barrel racing.
Yeah, I want to see how far I can get and try to make a career out of it somehow and see where that goes.
13-year-old Hannah and her horse Ellie have spent the past 2 years running barrel races all over southern Ontario on the National Horse Association circuit. Recent results earned them a spot at the World Championships in Georgia earlier this month. She trains for several hours a day, 4 or 5 times a week, and as you heard, she hopes to go pro one day. And a traffic alert to pass along. Lights are out in are flashing red on Henderson Highway and Layton Avenue. Treat that intersection as an all-way stop and use caution traveling through. Signals crews are on the way. We'll be right back with more Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, Tandy, it was a little bit cool yesterday and cool start to the morning. Are we going to see that heat come back later this week?
We are going to see that heat come back tomorrow, as early as tomorrow. It's 11 degrees right now. Partly cloudy outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. So yes, very cool start to the day, and it's going to be cool for the rest of the day. Our high is going to be 21 degrees. We woke up with those early morning showers due to that low pressure system, coming in from the west, and that has now tapered into the east. But looking at what we have on tap for us here in Winnipeg, as I said, our high is going to be 21 degrees, winds gusting west at 30 kilometers per hour. It's going to be a mix of sun and cloud for us on tap today. By the time we get into the evening time, those winds will decrease. So very low winds for us, 12 degrees, winds gusting southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. It's mostly going to be a clear evening. But looking into tomorrow, we do have that risk of a thunderstorm in the late afternoon, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But a high of 26 degrees, so that heat is going to come back. Our seasonal average is usually 26 degrees, so we'll be just on the line for that one. Winds gusting west at 30 kilometers per hour. But again, 60% chance of early morning showers, as well as that risk of thunderstorm in the late afternoon. So you just want to keep that of note when planning your day and traveling about. Just have a raincoat, umbrella, just in case. But looking into our 5-day forecast, it's mostly going to be sunshine on tap for the rest of the week. It's going to be dry, and we're going to have those high temperatures that we've been experiencing, so that heat is going to come back. So mostly sunshine on tap for us, but we do have that 30% chance of showers on Friday, so something to keep of note. But besides that, it's mostly going to be a dry week for us here in Winnipeg.
A 35-year-old man has been charged following a random stabbing at the Forks Saturday night. According to Winnipeg police, officers were called to Israel Asper Way at 6:30 p.m. for a reported stabbing. Police say the victim, a man in his 20s, was stabbed by an unknown man while waiting at a bus stop. He was taken to hospital in stable condition. The suspect ran from the scene but was arrested a short time later on Forks Market Road. The suspect was charged with aggravated assault, possession of a weapon, and failure to comply with the conditions of a release order. He was detained in custody. The charges have not been proven in court. Sherry Rollins is no longer running to secure a third term as city councillor for Fort Rouge East Fort Garry. Rollins has withdrawn from running in the upcoming municipal election. In a statement to CTV News, Rollins said public servants should not have to compete with a mayor's office that increasingly sidelines them and provides them with an executive leadership team that values compliance and not fearless advice. Rollins was first elected to council in 2018. She served on the mayor's executive policy committee until 2025, when she resigned from the role. Rollins joins a growing number of current councillors who are not seeking re-election. Janice Lukes, John Orlico, Brian Mays, and Marcus Chambers have all previously announced they will not be running this fall. Winnipeggers go to the polls on October 28th. WestJet says it will take several days for the airline to fully recover as the network gets back on track. That's left Canadians in limbo, with many of them still scrambling to find a way home. CTV's Camille Karamali has some of their stories.
The difference a day can make. These picket lines went from singing to silence. These WestJet ticket counters that were once quiet, now in total chaos. Everyone battling for the hottest commodity here, WestJet airline tickets. For those that got them, relief to be able to go home.
It'd be nice to sleep in my own bed, have clean clothes.
But not everyone was so lucky. Even after striking flight attendants went back on the job today, many here still searching for a way home.
More than 900 WestJet flights were canceled over the weekend. According to a global aviation analytics company, more than half of those took place on Sunday, with over 300 cancellations today.
And that has left countless Canadians still stranded abroad. There's the Santos family. A layover in Iceland has now turned into a very expensive trip extension.
Right now, as it stands, we're adding another $4,000.
With no idea if their tentative flight back to Manitoba will go ahead tomorrow.
This is now the third time that our flight is being rescheduled.
The Peace family, stuck in Scotland, initially WestJet rebooked them with other airlines Sunday, but when they went to the airport, this happened.
Once we actually got to the airport, although we'd been rebooked, we hadn't been issued tickets.
So once we visited those airlines, they actually had no knowledge that we were rebooked with them.
Then there's this Calgary couple in Mexico who were rebooked to return home today through California. The only problem is Mariana is a Mexican national and can't have a layover in the U.S. without a visa.
When you just auto rebook someone without maybe knowing what their limitations are for, entering countries, it makes it, snowball effect of problems that lead out of it.
So the advice from travel experts, pay for your own way back.
And then charge that ticket to WestJet, make them pay for it. If they don't pay it, then a judge will order them to pay it.
With these families out thousands of dollars, already exhausted, fighting to get home, now with another battle on their hands when they return, hoping to get some of their money back. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
A group of 25 states are suing the Trump administration over its latest round of tariffs.
My office and our coalition of attorneys general are fully committed to defending the rule of law and protecting our residents from unlawful economic harm.
The U.S. last month imposed new tariffs on 60 of its trading partners, including Canada, citing forced labor. These new tariffs kicked in just as the clock ran out on President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. The U.S. Supreme Court had struck them down as illegal. The state's lawsuit is arguing that the Trump administration is trying to get around the Supreme Court ruling. At one time, the city of Winnipeg planned to sell the old St. Boniface City Hall building. Now it hopes to lease it to someone. The city has put out a new request for proposals for the heritage building. The RFP would see someone lease the building and act as the property manager for a 10-year period with the option of one 10-year extension. According to the RFP, the successful proponent will engage the public and provide access to the property. The future of the building has been up in the air for years, with a number of different proposals to rejuvenate or sell the building. The city wants all proposals in by October 23rd. Taking a look at the current traffic situation out there on Confusion Corner, moving pretty smooth so far. Text any tips to us at 10400. And a look at your gas prices here in Winnipeg. The average is $1.77 and the lowest price in the city is $1.56. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Folklorama is underway and Ainsley McPhail is at the Pearl of the Orient Philippine Pavilion. Details coming up after the break.
Weather is brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Research at bbb.org before you buy.
11 degrees right now. Very cool start to the day. Nice cool temperatures compared to what we've experienced for the past few weeks right now. So 11 degrees, partly cloudy outside. Winds gusting west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. So across the province, that wind is increasing, as you can see through my hair. Little flyaways flying away. As I said before, we woke up to those early morning showers here in Winnipeg and most parts of southern Manitoba. Up in the north right now, they are experiencing some light rainfall. This is included in Thompson as well as in Churchill. So that's something to keep of note for us here in southern Manitoba. It's mostly going to be dry conditions on tap for us. I do want to note northern Manitoba will experience that light precipitation throughout the day, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. So just something to keep of note when planning out your day. From us here in southern Manitoba, we might experience that risk of thunderstorm in the late afternoon tomorrow with that high of 26 degrees. So it's going to heat up tomorrow in the morning time. But for us today, it's mostly going to be cool with that mix of sun and cloud and those cool temperatures to start off the day. So beautiful day for us to go out and grab a walk. Right now, we're going to head over to Ainsley McPhail to check out what she's up to this morning. Hey, Ainsley, how's it going?
Hi, good morning. 50 years of magic. Yes, that's Filipino magic here at Folklorama. Good morning, April. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, April.
Tell us all about Pavilion. 5 decades. Wow, can you believe it?
Yep, it's 50 years. We celebrated 50 years at the beginning of the year. So now we're here with Folklorama. Yep.
Tell us about that theme and how it really is encapsulated through this pavilion.
So to you, we're bringing 50 years of magic, and right now we're taking it down to the roots of being in the Philippines. So here we have our kubo, which is traditional house made of bamboo and it's on stilts. There we have our paroles, which is celebrated at Christmas. So Filipinos celebrate Christmas starting September. And here we have our sari store, which is the market at homes in the Philippines. So that's the source of income. And just daily essentials, snacks, and people come through just purchasing whatever they would like.
Well, and that's the neat part about Folklorama, too. Sometimes you can get little items you wouldn't necessarily be able to grab in Winnipeg.
Yeah, for sure. So here we have Dante Buenaventura. He is the founder of Magdargat. So he founded this just saving the culture, the preservation of the culture, the propagation, and just keeping the kids off the streets and keeping the culture alive through music, dance, and song. And here we are.
Well, no kidding. You said over 300 volunteers total.
Yeah, we have a lot of volunteers. And you know what? Look at the place. That's just amazing. They've put a lot of work and effort into it. And coming to see like all together, it's amazing.
One of my favorite things is going to even the food festivals here in Manitoba with the Filipino street food. It is exemplified through this display.
Yeah, for sure. So our volunteers put this together and just giving us a little taste of what our foods would look like. We have sago, we have buko pandan, and like barbecue pork skewers. We have fish balls and hot dogs on a stick. And yeah, there's just like a bunch of foods that we quite enjoy.
Oh, I wish I could spend all morning with you, and luckily I get to. More coming after the break.
A look at the early markets. The Dow Jones climbed 305 points. The Nasdaq is 225 points up. The S&P index had small gains. The Canadian dollar is set to 71.23 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng lost 156 points, and the Nikkei added 202 points. RCMP are asking for your help after a significant theft in Grunthal. Mounties have released these photos of a red truck that made off with somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 worth of electrical cable. They say it happened July 25th around 2 in the afternoon at a business on Home Road. RCMP say there were two suspects, both men, one wearing an orange safety vest and the other wearing a blue safety vest. Anyone with information or knows who owns the truck is asked to call St. Pierre RCMP or Crime Stoppers. People living in the Windsor, Ontario area are being urged to be very careful about going to Michigan because of rising cases of a parasite that can cause watery diarrhea. The Windsor-Essex County Health Unit has reported 24 cases of cyclosporiasis so far this year. The region usually averages about 3 cases a year. People who are traveling to Michigan are being told to be careful about eating lettuce and other produce. In Michigan, state health officials reported 2 deaths related to the outbreak.
Whereas that's obviously a tragedy and we're sad for the families that are affected, we should also note that there have been over 11,000 cases in this outbreak, and we've only had 2 deaths in patients that are clearly medically fragile.
Health officials say the 2 people who died had underlying conditions. The U.S. Center for Disease Control says it's aware of 18,000 confirmed or suspected cases tied to this outbreak. 2 municipalities in southern Ontario, St. Catharines and Lincoln, have declared states of emergency as they deal with widespread flooding after heavy rain.
Our entire north end and actually the top 2/3 of our city experienced flooding in different areas. And then with the ground absolutely saturated yesterday, we got another, I think it was 170 millimeters at the most recorded in the city. And ground saturated, the water had nowhere to go. It was inside homes. And
the mayor of St. Catharines says they've received a hurricane's worth of rain in recent days. 140 millimeters has fallen between 2 storms. The rain has overwhelmed the city's infrastructure and caused flooding in homes, businesses, and city facilities. The mayor wants help from other levels of government and said the province had left the city to fend for itself after Sunday's rain, though he says he's spoken with provincial officials since. In a statement, Ontario Premier Doug Ford said the province is working closely with impacted municipalities to provide support and assist with flood recovery. A young Brandon Boy's growing backyard business will be a bumper crop for children at the local hospital.
Red fingerling, and
Yukon Gold.
Yeah, Yukon Gold.
Those, along with russets, are the 4 varieties of potatoes growing in Logan Pandolfi's raised garden beds right now. Logan started Welcome to Logan's Potatoes last summer with 16 beds and sold out all 62 pounds of potatoes he offered to the community. This year he has 34 beds planted with 25 bags of potatoes thanks to donations from local businesses and the community, and hopes to sell 120 pounds to the public. Last year, Logan used some of the money to buy items for 2 animal shelters. This year, he plans to buy toys for children at the Brandon General Hospital.
The reason why I thought of that is because one time I went to the doctor?
You went to the doctors in Winnipeg?
Yeah, and after they offered me some little toy, the squishy things, and then I thought, maybe that's what we should do for our potatoes.
Logan will be selling his potato crop between August 14th and the 17th at 4 locations around Brandon. Purchases are capped at 5 pounds a customer. You can find the exact locations on the Welcome to Logan's Potatoes Facebook page. Tens of thousands of people gathered in Bolivia over the weekend. They were there to take part in one of the country's largest cultural celebrations. 87,000 dancers took part in the parade. Attendees celebrated the event in colorful and elaborate outfits. The festival blends Catholic and Indigenous traditions, with attendees from neighboring countries like Peru and Chile taking part. Some road closures to remind you about this morning on Portage. At least 1 lane in both directions will be closed between St. James and Empress Street. The westbound curb lane on Provencher Boulevard will be closed from Nadeau to Des Moines, and Doncaster Street will be closed between Ubik Crescent and Corydon Avenue.
Very cool start to the day. 11 degrees right now, partly cloudy outside, but that sunshine is beginning to peek through beautifully. Winds gusting west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. Looking at our satellite image right now, not too much to show you. We do have that low pressure system that has been forming out in eastern Ontario that had tapered from the province of Manitoba and tapered in because we experienced those early morning showers here in Winnipeg, as well as parts of northern Manitoba this morning. But looking at the current temperatures we're going to have on tap for us today, Churchill's going to experience a high of 14 degrees with that 60% chance of precipitation according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. Thompson at 18 degrees, Island Lake at 16 degrees, again with that chance of precipitation. And looking into Lynn Lake, 19 degrees, with Flin Flon at 21 degrees, Norway House 19 degrees, and we'll experience that light precipitation in the form of light rainfall according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. Looking into Swan River, 21 degrees, Dauphin 21 degrees, as well as Brandon 21 degrees. So they're going to experience that mix of sun and cloud, which is what we have on tap for us here in Winnipeg as well today. Our high is also going to be 21 degrees, mixture of sun and cloud throughout the day. Gimli 21 degrees, Burns River might experience some light precipitation at 18 degrees, and Steinbach at 21 degrees. So that's just the average temperature we're going to have. Our seasonal average is usually about 26, so we'll be a few degrees shy of that. Kenora at 19 degrees, with Red Lake at 18 degrees with that chance of precipitation as well. Now looking into our 7-day forecast, we do have that 60% chance of rainfall tomorrow according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, with that risk of thunderstorms in the late afternoon with a high of 26 degrees. So that heat will come back, but for today it's mostly going to be cool temperatures at 21.
All right, let's check now on the team at 103.1 Virgin Radio. Chrissy and LTI, good morning.
Hi, how was your weekend?
Good morning.
It was good. It was good. Nothing too crazy, but got out, went to a great barbecue yesterday. What about you guys?
So Lloyd went camping, right? Always a long weekend camping.
Camping, Falcon Lake, beautiful weather, can't complain.
And I was very, very fortunate. So I spent part of the long weekend in Gimli for Íslandsdagadóngrin, so the Icelandic festival that happens every year in Gimli. I was asked if I would be a parade marshal, so an honorary parade marshal. And so I didn't have to do anything except drive around in a Ferrari with Hans and welcome people to the parade. Now, what we should mention is how difficult it is to put on a festival of that magnitude year after year. And so a shout out to all of the organizers of Íslandsdagadóngrin for the fantastic job they do. The volunteers that come out year after year to help shine this festival. And so what's very, very cool about it is also the people that live in and around Gimli that support it every year, and how authentic the Íslandsdagadóngrin is to Icelandic culture. And I should actually say Gimli as well, too. So I had a chance to hang out with some of the dignitaries that were part of Íslandsdygðadómurinn this year, coming from Iceland, and it was really neat. We were walking through a building, and there was a history of Iceland map, okay? And Ragnar is one of the people that I was hanging out with, and he kind of walked over and he took a picture of it, and he goes, "This map," he says, "is in every school in Iceland." And I was like, no way. So, and that's just something that's authentic to Gimli, right? So yesterday the parade was fantastic. There were so many people that lined the streets of Gimli to sit and enjoy this parade. But in total, throughout the entire weekend, there's a lot of moving parts to Íslandsdygðadómurinn, right? So there was this beautiful festival that happened, a folk fest on the weekend. There's dignitary program that happened too, and they just did a great job.
Absolutely.
Thanks for allowing me to be
that.
part of your festival.
I'd love to hear more. Glad you had a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys soon. Well, Folklorama is officially underway, and the show goes on at the Ghana Pavilion days after dozens of cultural outfits were stolen. The community at large rallied Friday to replace the missing items. CTV's Danton Unger has more.
A team of volunteer sewers are hard at work inside the Ghana Folklorama Pavilion, scrambling to recreate dozens of cultural outfits that were stolen.
It doesn't matter what happens to you, the community will rise up and be there for you.
Pavilion coordinator Abigail Larson says on Thursday, these 3 bins were stolen from a volunteer's car. Inside, 75 sets of the pavilion's cultural attire needed for the Folklorama performances, along with 25 Ghana Black Star soccer jerseys that were going to be featured this year.
It's priceless. We can't really put a cost on those cultural attire.
With just days left before the pavilion is set to open, Larson put out an urgent call for help.
The outreach that came literally within hours was amazing.
Support from other Folklorama pavilions poured in, and then Virgin Radio's Ace Burpee Show caught wind of what happened.
So we can do this, and we will do this. We're going to rally hard.
Raising $1,500 and footing the bill to buy nearly 50 shirts to replace the stolen soccer jerseys. And the folks at the India Pavilion jumped in to cover the cost of printing them.
We have to watch each other's back. We have to be there for when somebody needs us, and that's important.
Not to mention hundreds of meters of African fabric donated, with community members showing up Friday to help sew.
I just have always loved Folklorama, and I knew that it's very important to our community. I had the day off, so I thought this was a really cool thing to help out with.
Crafting all this into brand new outfits for the young performers, but they're under the gun. All this has to be ready in time for the first show on Sunday.
The show will go on, and it'll be better than ever.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Police tell CTV News the theft was reported and its property crime unit will be doing a follow-up investigation. But the Ghana Pavilion is asking anybody who comes across the 3 stolen bins to return them to the pavilion at the Notre Dame Recreational Center. Don't go away. We will be right back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg. It's Tuesday, August 4th. Today, mixed reviews how Manitobans are feeling about the opening of the first safe consumption site. Plus, a tentative agreement, what we know about the deal made in the WestJet flight attendant strike. And singing the blues, how a Canadian man is bringing humor to the issue of rising food costs. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. I'm Daniel Halverson, joined by Tandy Vera on weather today. Hope everyone had a great long weekend. It's August, which means Folklorama is officially underway, and Ainsley McPhail starts her tour around the world at the Pearl of the Orient Philippine Pavilion. We already saw it once. It is lively down there at, it's not even 7, or it is 7 in the morning now. Now, it's a little bit cooler out today. Are we going to see much of that this week, or is the heat returning?
The heat is returning as soon as tomorrow, but yes, today it's going to be a very nice cool day with a high of 21 degrees is what we have on tap for us. Look at that beautiful sunshine peeking through. It's 11 degrees currently, partly cloudy outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. So we woke up to those early morning showers about 2-3 a.m. for here in southern Manitoba. For northern Manitoba, they're experiencing that rainfall as early as 5 a.m. and it actually stopped about 20 minutes ago, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But looking in our satellite image right now, as you can see, I do want to show you all. Sorry, me stepping out the wrong way. Need that morning coffee. We do have that low pressure system that's tapered off into eastern Ontario. As I mentioned, up in the north, they might experience that light precipitation on tap for them today. For southern Manitoba, it's mostly going to be dry conditions for us, especially in the evening time, clearing out. We're going to have a mix of sun and clouds for most of the day, but by the evening time, clear for us on tap. But I do want to mention that we have this low pressure system forming out into the west that will taper into the province. So tomorrow we have a 60% chance of precipitation, as well as that risk of thunderstorms, and that's due to this low pressure system that will taper into southern Manitoba and taper into different parts of the province. So up in the north, we might experience some rainfall as well tomorrow and today. So just keep that in mind when planning out your day, but it will taper off by the evening time. So Wednesday evening, we're going to have mostly clear skies, as well as going into Thursday, though we do have that low pressure system that will be forming Thursday morning as well. So just keep that of note just in case. But today our high is going to be 21 degrees, tomorrow a high of 26 degrees, so that heat will return tomorrow, but with that risk of thunderstorm and that 60% chance of precipitation. Now looking at this beautiful weather art of the day from Raven, 7 years old. What a beautiful Winnipeg sunset. Thank you so much for that. Keep those pictures coming. To submit your child's weather art of the day, visit our website ctvnewswinnipeg.ca and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and we'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crocodile on Keniston and Regent locations.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crocodile Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Keniston.
Provinces like Alberta and Ontario have either scrapped or reduced funding for safe consumption sites. But here in Manitoba, the first one is officially opening this month. As CTV's Alex Carpa reports, this decision is garnering mixed reaction.
This was the day where we had to make that decision to take him off life support.
Joseph Forey lost his 31-year-old son, Harlan, to a fentanyl overdose in 2023. He himself is also a former crystal meth user and a heroin addict and has been in recovery for almost 7 years. He says he's against the Manitoba government's decision to open a safe consumption site.
I'm very frustrated that the province is heading in this direction.
For years, Forey lived around consumption sites in other provinces and says he saw firsthand the impact on people struggling with addiction and the community these sites were in.
It was actually the place where I got introduced to heroin. Because this is where, drug dealers would congregate, knowing that people visiting the site would need drugs to use.
Manitoba's first supervised consumption site, created to address a growing overdose and drug crisis in Winnipeg, will provide drug testing and a space to use drugs with staff on hand. Advocate Marion Willis says the key for this plan to succeed is if the site offers safe supply.
A safe consumption site that administers and offers safer supply is offering a message of hope and recovery to its consumers.
Several consumption sites have recently been closed and defunded in Ontario and Alberta. Ian Colbert says this is a concern.
That means people who are going to be using these substances anyway are going to be doing it without any support. If there is a poisoning, no one will be there to help them.
This site will be open on August 11th and will be operational on set times between Tuesday and Saturday, with the province saying this approach will provide Manitobans with a more secure and controlled environment. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Manitoba's police watchdog is investigating after a woman was shot by Winnipeg police officer Monday morning. According to a news release, an officer was in the area of Aiken Street and College Avenue when he heard the sound of gunshots nearby. When he arrived at the scene, he was allegedly confronted by an 18-year-old woman and a 16-year-old youth. According to police, a use of force encounter occurred, a police service firearm was discharged, and the woman was injured. Emergency medical care was immediately provided to the 18-year-old woman, and she was transported to hospital in unstable condition, later upgraded to stable condition. Police say the woman and youth were linked to a shooting that occurred outside a home in the 300 block of College Avenue at the same time. The youth was arrested. Police said they recovered a firearm at the scene. The Independent Investigation Unit of Manitoba is now investigating. The WestJet flight attendant strike is over, but some customers are still trying to work out disrupted travel plans.
It's frustrating, but I understand. We took the chance, we rolled the dice, and so we're just going with the flow. We knew that coming in, so we're working with it.
According to one aviation analytics company, more than 900 WestJet flights were canceled over the weekend. Stranded passengers will have to wait as the airline gets its planes and crews back out. There's no word yet on when normal operations will resume. Planes started flying again yesterday afternoon after a tentative deal was reached.
Passengers and the public in general has been incredible on this issue of unpaid work. I think it resonates with Canadians. It's a fairness conversation.
4,400 flight attendants went on strike on Sunday, with WestJet then grounding all flights. Terms of the agreement have not been released yet, but union officials say it addresses their top issues of unpaid work and wages. Flight attendants have 30 days to vote on the deal. A temporary Canadian tariff on some wood products is now in place. The 25% tariff affects imports of some wood cabinets and vanities. The tariffs will be in place for a maximum of 200 days as Canada investigates if increased imports harms domestic producers. Products from the U.S., Mexico, Israel, Chile, and developing countries are exempt. Spanish officials are continuing to struggle with the massive influx of migrants into the country's north. Red Cross workers are helping those migrants still waiting for asylum with food and other aid. Say tens of thousands of migrants arrived from Morocco into the Spanish enclave of Ceuta last week. Thousands reportedly returned. Those who stayed could be seen holding signs asking for asylum. Some of the migrants say they are fleeing wars. Others say they are looking for work, safety, and opportunities. No shopper enjoys high food prices, but at least they can enjoy the song.
That every time I visit my local grocery store, every week the prices are up a little more.
Kevin Westphal is the Kitchener, Ontario musician behind Food Inflation Blues. He got the idea for the song during a conversation with a grocery store manager. Westphal is known for his tongue-in-cheek takes on current issues. He calls his songs an attempt to drive change with humor. And taking a look at the traffic out on St. Mary's Road, looks like a smooth drive so far. If you have any tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400.
Investors in Elon Musk's space company get a chance to question him Tuesday after SpaceX issues its first quarterly earnings since going public. SpaceX shares are down by half from their June peak as investors worry Musk may have oversold them on its future prospects. They're also bracing for volatile trading as some company insiders get the opportunity to sell shares after the expiration of what's known as a lockup provision later this week. Open Farm is working toward a potential initial public offering in Canada with Goldman Sachs and Royal Bank leading the way. The company had annual sales of more than 400 million as of the end of June and plans to raise as much as 400 million Canadian in an offering with an expected valuation between 1 and 2 billion Canadian. The U.S. Federal Communications Commission is drafting a ban on imports of some Chinese data center components, a move to protect American-made parts and prevent Chinese firms from installing malware or stealing data, Reuters said, citing people familiar with the plans. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
CTV's Ainsley McPhail.
Baby, and if it's quite all right, I need you, baby. Through all the lonely nights, I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say. The cameraman just looked at me and said, "You're up." I'm like, I know. I know. We're at Folklore. We are at the Pearl of the Philippines Pavilion. A lot of P's there. And we're having so much fun. Everything from food, dance, art, culture, and more. We're going to be having a look at the jeepney, but we're also going to be taking a look at some of the displays that they have. And guess what? Live performances, over 180 different performers, over 300 different volunteers. And at 8:38, we're going to try some of the food. Now, I had to look at the menu. What I have not tried, the only thing I haven't tried was like a sweet egg dessert. I love the combo, and I'm hoping that they have it.
Well, if you weren't awake yet, you're awake now after Ainsley's wonderful singing there. And if singing doesn't do it for you, a nice cool morning may be what the doctor ordered for a good wake-up call.
Yes, a nice cool morning, which is a nice change, especially with all that heat we've been experiencing. 12 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside. The sunshine has beautifully peeked through for us here in downtown Winnipeg. Winds gusting west-southwest at 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 92%. So across the province, we're experiencing these very low temperatures. Portage right now at 12 degrees and it's mostly sunny out there. Brandon has a very chilly start, 8 degrees currently, and it's mostly sunny for them as well. I do want to mention in Churchill right now, it's 11 degrees, but they are experiencing some mist. It was raining earlier, about an hour ago for them there in Churchill, but now it's misty. In Thompson again, 10 degrees, mostly cloudy right now, but they were also experiencing some rain earlier this morning, also about an hour ago, but that has stopped according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But yes, across the province, we're going to have these very cool temperatures. The winds will increase, not dramatically, but as you can see, it's getting windy right now as I'm speaking, but winds will go up to 30 kilometers per hour according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. So just something to keep of note. Tomorrow we do have that risk of thunderstorm as well as light precipitation, and that's across the province, including our friends up in the north who might experience that rainfall later on today. So just keep that on tap for us here in Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
All right, it's time now for our question of the day. We want to know what was the best part of your long weekend. You can text your answers to 10400. Just make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. And don't forget to include your name.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing, and we want to see even more. Whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a short break right now, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg. Winnipeg firefighters responded to 4 blazes Sunday night, including one at a vacant restaurant on Main Street that was hit during an arson spree last year. Fire crews responded to the shuttered Bougie restaurant at just after 5:30 p.m. Sunday. Firefighters arrived to find heavy smoke coming from the building and spent 4 hours battling the blaze, getting it under control at 9:40 p.m. Crews remained on scene overnight, extinguishing hotspots. No one was found inside the building and no injuries were reported. The WFPS said the building suffered significant fire, water, and smoke damage. The restaurant was previously damaged by fire in October 2025, which was later determined to be arson. Tim Huffman of Anchorage, Alaska, keeps a very, very close eye on his hive.
A rough idea and some rough plans.
He's put a glass hive right in his living room with a pipe to the outside so the bees can come and go as they please. Plus, he had a custom table made for it so the hive blends into his living room aside from the buzzing. He still hasn't decided what will happen yet when it comes to Alaska's harsh winter. The operation may need to move to his garage to protect the bees from being shocked by wild temperature swings. Sherry Rollins is no longer running to secure a third term as city councillor for Fort Rouge, East Fort Garry. Rollins has withdrawn from the upcoming municipal election. In a statement to CTV News, Rollins said public servants should not have to compete with a mayor's office that increasingly sidelines them and provides them with an executive leadership team that values compliance and not fearless advice. Rollins was first elected to council in 2018. She served on the mayor's executive policy committee until 2025 when she resigned from the role. Rollins joins a growing number of current councillors who are not seeking re-election. Janice Lukes, John Orlico, Brian Mays, and Marcus Chambers have all previously announced they will not be running this fall. Winnipeggers go to the polls on October 28th. International Tiger Day may be over, but the Toronto Zoo is still celebrating. visitors can actually go behind the scenes with Maisie, the tiger ambassador. Through this tour, they'll discover how the wildlife care team supports an aging big cat. Maisie is 19 years old. Specialized care and cameras are used to monitor her movement. And taking a look at the current traffic situation, nice on Portage Avenue there. One alert to pass along. The lights are flashing red on Henderson and Layden, also on Dugald and Bourne. Treat those intersections as all-way stops and use caution traveling through. Signal crews are on their way.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
The newest Spider-Man movie swung into theaters this weekend, and it's already setting box office records.
I'm sorry, but you're in danger. You just have to trust me. Fine.
In fact, according to Sony Pictures, Spider-Man Brand New Day broke the Avengers Endgame record for the biggest North American opening weekend, with $360 million in ticket sales from theaters in the U.S. and Canada. Sony on Sunday projected that Spider-Man would net an estimated $355 million in its first weekend, playing in 4,487 theaters, just barely missing the 2019 Avengers Endgame record of $357 million. But the fourth Spider-Man movie, starring Tom Holland, had a stronger than expected Sunday and ultimately came out ahead. Now, chances are, if you loved Christopher Nolan's Odyssey film, you also probably enjoyed the score. To no surprise, Nolan teamed up with composer Ludwig Göransson again on this project. Göransson has previously worked on Oppenheimer and Tenet. Travis Scott, along with Göransson and James Blake, released the music video for When I'm Home. It was featured in the film, and Travis Scott also directed it. And the MLB trade deadline may have passed, but this star player is staying on the Pitt roster.
Oh, it's even more beautiful than I imagined. Those of you that don't know, my mother was born in Pittsburgh. My parents met in Pittsburgh. They both went to college in Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh. Thank you for being so kind to us and letting us come and film in your beautiful city.
Noah Weil has his very own bobblehead. The bobblehead was given out during a Pittsburgh Pirates game. Weil stars as Dr. Robbie on the Pitt, so it's very fitting for his fictional home city. The Pitt streams in Canada right on Crave. And a Clueless sequel series with Alicia Silverstone is now in the works.
Ew! Get off of me!
The original film was first released back in 1995. Silverstone is reprising her role as Cher Horowitz for a 6-episode run. And your Tuesday primetime lineup starts at 7 with The Big Bang Theory. Match Game comes next at 8, and at 9, catch Password. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Very cool start to the day. Mostly sunny outside, 12 degrees currently. Winds gusting west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 92%. So yes, a very cool start across the province. That's what we have on tap. Looking across, Gimli at 11 degrees currently, Portage 11 degrees, Brandon 8 degrees. So very, very cool start for them this morning. Dauphin at 11 degrees and Swan River at 12 degrees. And looking up into Thompson, 10 degrees right now, mostly cloudy for them. Churchill at 11 degrees, currently experiencing some mist, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. Lynn Lake at 11 degrees, Flin Flon at 12 degrees, and Island Lake at 12 degrees as well. So very cool temperatures is what we have on tap for us this morning. And throughout the day, it's mostly going to be a nice cool day. Looking at our satellite image right now, there's not much to show you. There was a low pressure system that had been forming out in the west that had tapered into Winnipeg and most of southern Manitoba, and that's why we experienced those early morning showers as well as up in the north. We do have that chance tomorrow, so just keep that in mind, 60% chance, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But for today, it's mostly cool. 14 degrees by the time it's 8 a.m., 20 degrees by the time it's 2 p.m., with those winds gusting west at 30 kilometers per hour, as well as 21 degrees by the time later on in the afternoon, which is our high today, looking at our 7-day forecast. Beautiful high of 21 degrees with that mix of sun and clouds. So not too hot, not too cold, just a nice average temperature. Our seasonal average is about 26, so a few degrees shy from that. Looking at our beautiful pick of the day from Shelley in Stonewall. How gorgeous. Love the sunflowers and the beautiful sunset. Please keep those pictures coming at Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
August 4th, 1942. Tea and coffee war rationing took effect in Canada. Tea and coffee became coupon controlled. No longer could Canadians buy unlimited quantities. Canadian troops overseas were supplied first when it came to the two beverages. Rationing helped ensure soldiers had a reliable supply of coffee and tea and stabilized the civilian supply. August 4th, 1944. Nazi police raided the secret annex of a house in Amsterdam and arrested 8 people, including 14-year-old Anne Frank. The diary Anne kept while in hiding gained international fame after her death in 1945 at the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. Anne's final diary entry was written 3 days prior, on August 1st, 1944. The diary was first published in its original Dutch in 1947 and became an instant bestseller. August 4th, 2010. The Harper government's Justice Minister Rob Nicholson announced the Conservative government would be introducing a broadened definition of serious offense under organized crime legislation in an effort to prosecute and punish those groups' most lucrative activities: gambling, prostitution, and drugs. The changes were enacted by way of the federal cabinet without a parliamentary vote.
Veterans Affairs Canada says one of the country's last surviving Second World War veterans has died. A social media post from the federal agency says William or Bill Wilson died Monday at 101 years old. It says he was born in Manitoba in 1924, served aboard the HMCS Ottawa, and took part in the bloody D-Day landings on the beaches of Normandy on June 6, 1944. Wilson was 14 when the war began. He enlisted on his 18th birthday in November 1942. In 2015, Wilson was featured in a video for Valor Canada in which he reflected on the magnitude of D-Day.
I think it was the best day of the war for the world. We did free all of Europe. Canada was there for a little nation like ours. It still amazes me. There were 5 beaches and Canada had one of them. And the Brits, the Americans trusted us to look after that beach. And we did. Would I do it again? In spades.
Veterans Affairs Canada says on its website, Wilson joined the Naval Reserve when the war ended and retired from active service in 1979. Wilson's obituary says a celebration of life will be held in August and at Calgary's HMCS Tecumseh, the Naval Reserve unit where he most recently served. And Ainsley McPhail is celebrating Folklorama at the Pearl of the Orient Philippine Pavilion. We'll catch some dancing coming up after the break. CTV's Ainsley McPhail is live this morning at Folklorama. Ainsley, what are you up to?
55 years of Folklorama. I want to apologize, not for doing karaoke, but for not providing context to why I was Pearl of the Orient Filipino Pavilion. Alex and Anya are joining us, and we even get a live performance. First things first, tell us about the dance.
Yeah, so Tinikling originally is from Leyte, the province, from the Philippines, and it is one of the most well-known Filipino dances around the world. It's quite popular actually, and it's based off of a tickling bird, and we're trying to capture the tickling bird, trying not to get captured from the hunters, hence why us dancers, we dance out in and out of the bamboo, trying not to get clapped our feet while music is playing in the background.
And I understand that you guys have some very positive feedback, very lively performances.
Yes, everybody loves this dance. It is, as it's been mentioned, it is the most popular dance of our culture. And people just have a lot of fun playing around. When you come to the pavilion, maybe today, tomorrow, sometime this week, you can have a nice demonstration. And we have some of our CTC, our children theater company, giving some lessons for anybody who wants to learn.
Kids as young as 4, I heard?
Yes, as young as 4. Can do it better than some of us here.
Me included. Okay, you two, take it away. I'd love to see it.
Coordination would not, nope, I would be on the floor. Not for me, but
looks fun.
What about you?
I would not be as great because I'm just clumsy. I'm naturally clumsy, so maybe not for me too. But today, it's a great time to go out if you want to go out and check out a few pavilions. 12 degrees currently, mostly sunny outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 92%. So yes, a very cool day is what we have on tap for us here in most of Manitoba, most of southern Manitoba. Up in the north, they might experience some early rainfall according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, so something to keep of note. Looking at our satellite image, not much to show you besides that low pressure system that's forming out in eastern Ontario. That might be on tap for us tomorrow according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, but for today, our high, as I said, it's going to be 21 degrees, winds gusting west at 30 kilometers per hour, so it's going to be a mix of sun and cloud. That's what we have on tap, and by the evening time, those clouds will clear off, so with mostly clear skies, as well as low winds gusting southwest at 15 kilometers per hour, and again, 12 degrees. So very cool day in general for us here in Manitoba, and that's just across the province with these cool temperatures. Now, as I mentioned, 26 degrees, it's going to be our high tomorrow, so that heat is going to come back. Our seasonal average is usually about 26, so we'll be right on the mark with that one. Winds gusting west at 30 kilometers per hour, but we do have that risk of thunderstorms in the late afternoon, as well as a 60% chance of light rainfall or light showers according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. So just keep that of note when traveling about, but that'll be in the later part of the afternoon. But looking at our beautiful 5-day forecast, it's mostly going to be dry conditions for us on tap, and that heat is going to increase with sunshine and a mix of clouds and sun. So great week to go out and just enjoy some Folklorama pavilions.
A 35-year-old man has been charged following a random stabbing at the Forks Saturday night. According to Winnipeg police, officers were called to Israel Asper Way at 6:30 p.m. for a reported stabbing. Police say the victim, a man in his 20s, was stabbed by an unknown man while waiting at a bus stop. He was taken to hospital in stable condition. The suspect ran from the scene but was arrested a short time later on Forks Market Road. The suspect was charged with aggravated assault, possession of a weapon, and failure to comply with the conditions of a release order. He was detained in custody. The charges have not been proven in court. It's not clear where the U.S. and Iran stand right now in terms of ceasefire talks.
Many countries called, the leaders of many are friendly with a lot of them, almost all of them, one way or the other, and they all wanted to give this a last chance. This is the last chance.
U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday said talks were happening, calling it a last chance for Iran to sign a deal. Tehran, however, denies there are any negotiations that are ongoing or scheduled. Its president this morning did say Iran will defend its borders but is not seeking a wider war. There are also reports this morning of a cargo ship being hit in the Strait of Hormuz. This happened off the coast of Oman. Firefighters in Greece are trying to contain a massive wildfire fueled by strong winds. Communities west of Athens are dealing with the destructive wildfire. Homes and vehicles have been damaged. It's been a record-breaking hot and dry summer across Europe. France is also trying to stabilize a wildfire in Provence. Meanwhile, England and Wales just recorded its driest July in nearly 2 centuries, dating back to 1836. There are still thousands of migrants at Ceuta Beach in Spain after last week's mass crossing. There was a rush for food and supplies as the humanitarian response begins. Spain estimates more than 60,000 people have returned to Morocco since Thursday's rush across the border. More than 80 people died from the surge. European ministers held an emergency meeting this morning to talk about tougher border measures. The rush happened after Spain changed rules to limit the immediate return of migrants who reach its enclaves by sea. Well, the wait is almost over for people to take a stroll or cycle across the Gordie Howe International Bridge.
Love biking, so we're excited about riding our bikes across and exploring the Detroit side, so looking forward to it.
The pedestrian multi-use path opens tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. It will be free access to those traveling on foot or bike. 54 bike racks will be added tomorrow morning. Officials are expecting thousands of cyclists wanting to be one of the first to cross. People can turn around at any point on the bridge, but you still have to go through a check-in point with the border agency. Passport or Nexus card is required. Another Canadian is preparing for the journey of a lifetime. Joshua Kutrick was one of 4 astronauts introduced in Houston Monday as they prepare for a mission to the International Space Station.
For me, I would just spend a few minutes here to talk about the enormous sense of gratitude that the 4 of us feel for everyone who has gone into making this mission possible. You know, personally, myself, I grew up on a cattle farm in Canada. It's a long way from being here with this mission in front of us. But the one thing that has resonated at every twist and turn in that journey has been the complexity of these missions, and because of that, the enormity of the teams that go into pulling missions like this off. So we need to say thank you to everyone.
The Alberta native and his crewmates will spend 6 months in orbit conducting experiments and maintenance work. NASA released images from the space station showing the view Kutrick will have during his time up there. Liftoff from Florida is scheduled for September 12th. In April, fellow Canadian Jeremy Hansen flew around the moon during the Artemis II mission. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Portage, at least one lane in both directions will be closed between St. James and Empress Street. The westbound curb lane on Provencher Boulevard will be closed from Nadeau to Desmiron, and Doncaster Street will be closed between Ubique Crescent and Corden Avenue. If you have any traffic tips, text them to us at 10400. And a look at your gas prices here in Winnipeg. The average is $1.77 and the lowest price in the city, $1.56. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
It's a cool 12 degrees outside in Winnipeg right now, but the sun's shining. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg.
12 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 92%. Not much to show you on the satellite image this morning, though out in the east they are experiencing that thunderstorm right now, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, and some light rainfall in the form of some light precipitation in the form of rainfall. Time for some coffee. But looking at the currents of what we're going to have for our highs today across the province, Churchill at 14 degrees with that 60% chance of rain, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. Thompson at 18 degrees, Island Lake at 16 degrees as well with that chance of light rainfall. Looking into Lynn Lake at a high of 19 degrees, Flin Flon at 21 degrees, and Norway House at 19 degrees as well. But again, also facing that 40% chance of light showers, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. So very cool temperatures across the province is what we have on tap for us today. The highest being about 21 degrees, with Dauphin also at 21 degrees, Swan River 21, and Brandon 21. So they're going to have a mix of sun and cloud, and that's on tap for us here in Winnipeg as well. We're going to have that mixture of sun and cloud, 21 degrees, 21 in Gimli as well as in Portage, 21 degrees, Steinbach at 21 degrees. So very much 21 degree type of day for most of the places across the province. Red Lake at 18 degrees and Kenora at 20 degrees, as well as Dryden at 20 degrees with that mix of sun and cloud. Now, looking into our 7-day forecast for what we have on tap, as I mentioned, high of 21 for us today, but tomorrow that heat will pick up. 26 degrees is going to be our high, but we do have that 60% chance of precipitation in the form of light rain or showers, and we might have that risk of thunderstorms in the late afternoon time. So just keep that in mind when planning out your day. Grab that raincoat, umbrella just in case. But the rest of the week, it's mostly going to be dry conditions on tap for us, and that heat picking up with sunshine on the way, with a mix of sun and cloud on some days, but mostly sunny times for those summer vibes.
Thanks, Tandy. Ainsley McPhail is live this morning at the St. Norbert Community Center, which has been transformed into a Filipino paradise. It's Folklorama. Who you chatting with now, Ainsley?
I'm with Anne, and the jeepney is an iconic, I want to say piece of art, because the interior is absolutely stunning. When you visit the pavilion, you can check it out for yourself. Good morning, Anne.
Good morning.
Tell us all about this really cool car.
So you're definitely right. The jeepney is such an icon of the Philippines. So jeepneys are actually World War II surplus vehicles that were kind of taken by the Filipino people and thinking, what should we do with these cars? And we made them into public transportation. So you'll find them all across the Philippines. Each kinds of different things that are meaningful to them. So you'll see here there's lights, and they can get as fancy as you want to get.
And, well, the colors, that's what my love is, just like, you know, bright, vibrant Filipino culture, too. It kind of mirrors that. Are all of them completely different based on the family, or are there some parallels?
No, they're actually very, very different. So you kind of see them zooming around, and they're kind of a piece of that moving art that really represents, for some people, they kind of paint things from their home country or from their home hometown. Others, it's something that might be really, really meaningful to the family. It might even be pictures of the family members themselves. So it really is that moving piece of art that represents the various parts of the community. With the jeepneys, it really is that sense of resourcefulness, making sure that we're using all the different things that are available to us, and that resilience that we have in our community too.
And I haven't been watching out for it, but have there been a bunch of jeepneys bumping around Winnipeg?
Not yet, but we're hoping to see more. Can you imagine seeing something like this being bright and beautiful out on our streets and having people come together in close quarters, but being able to visit different parts of the community?
I'm almost glad you said not yet, not because we haven't seen them, but because I don't want to be the silly one that's like, how did you possibly miss one of these? Why should people come to this pavilion?
Well, not only to try the jeepneys beep, because it beeps really loudly, but to see all the things that are going on at our pavilion. Just like the jeepney, our pavilion is bright, it's colorful, it's so much fun, and we invite you to visit the magic of Magduragat.
Beepney. I think I like that play on words. I love it. Okay, back to you guys.
Many of us are all creatures of habit, and a lot of people get used to having the same area code, sometimes for their entire life. Now, Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island are getting a new area code added to their exchange. As CTV's Paul Hollingsworth tells us, the switch is getting mixed reviews and could take some time to get used to.
91-year-old Fran Bright says the old days before area codes existed were so long ago she can't recall how phone calls were placed.
Afraid I don't remember.
Now, with news of a new area code, Bright is taking the easygoing approach.
Probably wouldn't make any difference.
Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island have had the same 902 area code since 1947. 782 was added in 2014. Now, people living in both provinces are getting another 3-digit code, 851.
Technology is accelerating the rate at which existing exchanges fill up.
Technology analyst Carmi Levy says phone companies are running out of numbers and launching new area codes to solve the problem.
It used to be one phone number per household, one phone number per business, whereas now everybody has a smartphone.
People who live here have sentimental attachment to the original area code. More than just the number, some people connect it to their identity.
I understand, you know, it's the heritage and stuff like that.
Levy says area codes signal to the world where we come from.
We put a lot of our personal identity into the phone numbers that we have.
Digital anthropologist Giles Croach says, like 416 in Toronto or 604 in Vancouver, 902 is woven into the regional fabric of Nova Scotia and PEI.
And so 902 becomes part of our lifestyle. It's a cultural identity.
If anyone misses the old area code, there is a way to buy it back.
Just go online and look up numbers in the exchange that you want, and you can pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars for the privilege of having a phone number in that original exchange.
Whether people like it or not, they will have time to get used to the idea. The new 851 area code will go into effect for Nova Scotia and PEI in May of 2028. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
All right, let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Well, it's Lisa Marie. Happy birthday to Lisa Marie with lots of love from your mom. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
21 degrees today for our high, our low at 12 degrees. Our seasonal average is about 26 degrees, so a few degrees just shy from that. Last year, the highest was 26.5 degrees, so very, very warm start. In 1931, the record-breaking is 36.7 degrees. Also to mention that our sun is now rising and setting a bit earlier and rising a bit later. It rose at 6 a.m. this morning. Right now, it's 12 degrees, mostly sunny outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 92%. So a very cool start to the day, and these cool temperatures is what we have on tap for us across the province. Right now in Dauphin, it's about 10 degrees. In Brandon, it's 8 degrees, so they have a very chill start to the day. I do want to mention in Churchill, they're experiencing some mist right now. They experienced some early morning showers at about 5 to 6 a.m. Now it's changed to mist, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. And that's kind of what we have on tap for us across the province, these very cool temperatures to just on bay for us with that mix of sun and cloud. The northern communities might feel that early rainfall, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, but tomorrow we have that risk as well, 60% chance of showers with that risk of thunderstorms in the late afternoon, so something to keep up tap. That heat will return tomorrow, so just want to keep that in mind when planning out your day, but today it's going to be cool temperatures for us.
The National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, or Orange Shirt Day, is coming up on September 30th. And a neighborhood drop-in center for children and youth is out with a new orange shirt design, and they're selling them to support vital programming in our community. Rossbrook House's 2026 t-shirt was designed by former participant Brianna Mink. She joins us now alongside Rossbrook House's Executive Director, Patty Mainville. Thank you both for being here.
Yep. Thank you for having us.
Now, Brianna, let's start with you. This design is close to your heart. Tell us a little bit about it.
The design of the shirt, it's meant to represent multiple things. First, it's meant to represent the kind of youth that come to Rossbrook. You see, the junior staff that were once, the children that would come here, and the youth that were once, they're growing up and become and they come and help the other children. That's what it's meant to represent.
And for you, you went from being a participant to being a leader there.
Yeah.
What has Rossbrook House meant to you over the years?
It's meant so much to me growing up. I would come here all the time just to see people and build a community. Rossbrook House really did help me out with my art career, and I'll forever be grateful for Rossbrook House for helping me figure out my identity.
And you're going to school in the fall. You're going to university. What are you going to take?
I'm going to go to it's the first year, but I want to take psychology. I want to learn more about that.
Very cool. Good for you. Now, Patty, why is it important for Rossbrook House to honor Truth and Reconciliation Day?
Well, Rossbrook House is very generational. We're celebrating our 50th year this year. We've seen so many participants walk through our doors. A huge part of our demographics are our Indigenous youth, and our staff are approximately 95% Indigenous. So a lot of our participants and staff are children of residential school survivors who have attended day schools, who have experienced the intergenerational effects of residential school. So within that, we try to implement the reclaiming of culture and languages, and try to give children experiences that they may not have the opportunity to experience. But an opportunity to just be kids and come in and play and build community with their friends. One of the things that we've been doing these last couple of years is bringing them out to First Nation communities to experience things such as powwows on reserves. A lot of our children don't have the opportunity to be able to even venture out beyond our perimeter. So having that opportunity to go to places like Broken Head Powwow, which is happening over the next few days, is an opportunity to be able to expose them, but also reclaim culture and identity.
And I guess the proceeds from the shirt, that helps, you know, get kids out there, get to, that was $25 for adult ones, $20 for youth ones. Where can people buy these t-shirts?
They could go online at rossbrookhouse.ca /orange shirt and order them. It's free for pickup. If they would like to pick them up, but $25 for the adults and $20 for children, and the proceeds go directly to our children.
Wonderful. Now, before we go today, you mentioned 50 years of Rossbrook House. How are you guys celebrating this fall?
Yes, so we had a number of celebrations throughout the year, but specifically with our community on the first day of school, we are going to have a big celebration on September the 9th, I believe it's a Wednesday.
Perfect.
And everything will be free, from a barbecue to cotton candy to bouncy castles to dunk tanks. Yeah.
We are running out of time, but thank you both for coming in today. More information on Rossbrook House's website.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt Scooby inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. For it, we head to Houston, where the Astros were hosting the Blue Jays. Bottom of the fourth, Taylor Trammell hits one deep to center. Miles Straw tracking, makes the nice leaping grab at the wall. However, Trammell apparently thought he hit it much further because rounding the bases, he thinks it was a home run. Little celebration with the third base coach, but once he crosses home plate, someone finally tells him, hey, that ball was caught, didn't go out. And I think the lack of celebration from his team or the fans would have alerted him. That is your must-see moment from Monday. Now tonight on TSN, the Hlinka Gretzky Cup continues with Canada taking on Slovakia. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's all for now from the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Tuesday, August 4th. College Avenue investigation. Manitoba's police watchdog is looking into an officer-involved shooting on Monday, which sent an 18-year-old woman to hospital. Also up in the air in more ways than one. Now that WestJet flight attendants are back at work, how travelers are coping with the brief but disruptive stoppage. And these sisters do everything together, and that goes all the way to their work, saving patients and supporting each other in a Montreal operating room. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, I'm Daniel Homerson, joined by Tandy Vera on weather. Thank you for spending your Tuesday with us. Long weekend is over, and Folklorama is here. Over the next couple of weeks, Ainsley's going to be visiting various pavilions, checking out some of their offerings. She's at the Pearl at the Orient Philippine Pavilion today. We're going to get a taste of some of that food a little later. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to talk with a Manitoba filmmaker about his first feature film and how that booming industry here has helped support him. But a little bit cooler to start this week. We had some hot temperatures last week, but a little bit cooler. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, a little cool today. Very cool today. Our high is going to be about 21 degrees. So very cool day for us on tap. It's currently 12 degrees. Mostly sunny outside. Winds gusting southwest at 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 92%. So yes, very cool start to the day. We did experience those early morning showers here in Winnipeg, as well as parts of southern Manitoba. Even up in the north, they experienced some rainfall. That was about 6 a.m., 6 to 5 a.m. But looking at our satellite image for what we have on tap for us today, I do want to mention we do have this low pressure system that's been forming out in eastern Ontario. We also have up here, as you can see, this low pressure system right at the border of the north, and that's why they're experiencing that light rainfall today for parts of the day. So they had some in the morning, they might have some later on in the afternoon, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But for us, mostly in southern Manitoba, it's mostly going to be clearing, as you can see just below, and that's what we have on tap today, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 21 degrees. But I do want to mention that this low pressure system will likely taper in to the province that's coming out from the west. So that will be for tomorrow. We have that risk of thunderstorms, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. So something to keep of note when going about your day, but it will clear off by the time we get into Thursday, where it's going to be mostly clear skies for us. And looking at our 7-day forecast, as I mentioned, tomorrow high is going to be 26 degrees. That heat's going to come back tomorrow. And the rest of the week, it's going to be mostly sunny skies, but we do have that risk of a thunderstorm in the late afternoon. Now, this is a beautiful picture from Raven. Beautiful art, 7 years old. I love that Winnipeg sunset. Please keep those pictures coming. To submit your child's weather art of the day, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and will also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Keniston and Regent locations.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Keniston.
Manitoba's police watchdog is investigating after a woman was shot by a Winnipeg police officer Monday morning. According to a news release, an officer was in the area of Aiken Street and College Avenue when he heard the sound of gunshots nearby. When he arrived at the scene, he was allegedly confronted by an 18-year-old woman and a 16-year-old youth. According to police, a use of force encounter occurred. A police service firearm was discharged and the woman was injured. Emergency medical care was immediately provided to the 18-year-old woman, and she was transported to hospital in unstable condition, later upgraded to stable condition. Police say the woman and youth were linked to a shooting that occurred outside a home in the 300 block of College Avenue at the same time. The youth was arrested, and police said they recovered a firearm at the scene. The Independent Investigation Unit of Manitoba is now investigating. The star player of the Winnipeg Seabears basketball team was the victim of an assault in downtown Winnipeg Sunday night. The Winnipeg Seabears posted on social media Monday that Teddy Allen was assaulted and hospitalized. The Facebook post says as of yesterday, Allen was receiving care in hospital. The statement said the Seabears are cooperating fully with the investigation. The Winnipeg Police Service confirmed they were aware of the incident, and it is under investigation. The Seabears said they would not comment further as the investigation is in its early stages. Winnipeg firefighters responded to 4 blazes Sunday night, including one at a vacant restaurant on Main Street that was hit during an arson spree last year. Fire crews responded to the shuttered Bougie restaurant at just after 5:30 p.m. Sunday. Firefighters arrived to find heavy smoke coming from the building and spent 4 hours battling the blaze, getting it under control at 9:40 p.m. Crews remained on scene overnight, extinguishing hotspots. No one was found inside the building and no injuries were reported. The WFPS said the building suffered significant fire, water, and smoke damage. The restaurant was previously damaged by fire in October 2025, which was later determined to be arson. A new 25% tariff on certain imported wood cabinets and vanities is now in effect. Ottawa made the temporary move to try and protect a sector struggling under the weight of American tariffs and a flood of global imports. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
50% capacity because of this whole situation.
2 weeks after CTV News shared the story of this Quebec cabinet maker struggling under American tariffs and a flood of foreign products, Ottawa announced a 25% temporary tariff on imported wood cabinets and vanities.
Great step in the right direction.
The Canadian Wood Products Alliance was calling for a 125% tariff. Alain Ouzilot says 25% isn't likely enough to hire back laid-off employees, but it will make a big difference as he lobbies for the Canadian case in Washington.
It's sending the message to the U.S. administration that, hey guys, we're serious about, doing something that will avoid diversion of unfair products to your country as well.
All this a stopgap while the Canadian International Trade Tribunal investigates. A government source tells CTV News Canada needed to act now to avoid significant and maybe irreparable damage to the sector.
We're just very disappointed that the government chose to do this.
But the Retail Council of Canada is pushing back, concerned the move will raise prices for consumers.
There will be less availability of these goods at certain price points. And that will just drive up the costs of home renovations, of home constructions.
While the Canadian Federation of Independent Business supports the tariff, saying cabinet makers have been operating with one hand tied behind their back.
If the other nations are able to sell a better product at a lower cost, that's fair game. But if they're doing that because the U.S. market is closed to them and now they're just shoving product into Canada to try to get a portion of their money back, well, there are rules around that.
As per those World Trade Organization rules, this tariff can be in effect for up to 200 days, while the Canadian International Trade Tribunal must wrap up its investigation by January 15th.
WestJet will send more planes up in the air today after a brief strike by flight attendants.
Jays game, it was good. Saw some family, but yeah, we'd prefer to be in Barbados, but that's okay.
Some customers are still stranded abroad, and then there are those who never left for their destinations at all. They're stuck in a tricky situation to decide if they should book another flight or wait for a seat on a WestJet plane. Hundreds of flights were canceled over the weekend as the flight attendant strike started on Sunday. A tentative deal was reached by Monday. Terms of that deal have not been released. A family that works together stays together.
I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's very chaotic for the people around us because we do talk over each other. So the way that we behave towards each other is a little bit familiar.
Cinziana and Teddy are both surgical oncologists at MUHC in Montreal. They're also sisters. Cinziana performs mostly open surgery while Teddy does mostly robotic surgery. Sometimes they do end up in an operating room together. And taking a look at the current traffic situation along Pembina Highway, moving pretty well there. If you have any tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
And CTV's Ainsley McPhail is live this morning at the Pearl of the Orient Philippine Pavilion. Yep, Folklorama's on, folks, and she's starting her tour around the world.
We're currently in the photo booth, so when you come on down, you can take part in everything from enjoying the beautiful cultural displays to karaoke to getting a lovely photo. Cultural attire is a really big part of Folklorama, and we've got 3 amazing ambassadors and models as well. Madeline, thank you so much for doing this interview. Tell us about what you guys are wearing.
Of course, so we are wearing traditional Filipiniana and a barong Tagalog. It's a part of the Maria Clara suite that we have as part of one of our shows in Folklorama. So it's essentially heavily influenced by the Spanish era. And it definitely has some traditional roots, as well has been modernized and adapted to have various styles nowadays.
And I'm not going to touch you, but the material is amazing.
Yes.
That's a big part of it.
So the material is made primarily by local plants in the Philippines, the fibers. So it's made out of abaca or piña, which is like pineapple leaf. It's a material that's light and breathable, durable for the hot, humid weather in the Philippines.
How does it feel to wear in the hot, humid weather here in Manitoba?
It's great. It's nice and breathable. I can you know, really stand in the sun and not be sweating too much. Yeah.
Well, if there is a store, and I'm sure there is, it's going to be a line out the door when they find out about this material. Tell us about what it means to you to be an ambassador, because it's now 50 years of this pavilion. I'm sure you've seen many of your family members too.
Right. It's truly an honor to be able to represent my culture as a part of the Pearl of the Orient Philippine Pavilion. I've been a part of the group for such a long time, and it's a pleasure to be able to represent the group as an ambassador and really showcase the Filipino culture to all of Winnipeg.
If and when I come to this pavilion, what should I do?
You should enjoy every aspect as much as you possibly can. The food, the cultural display, especially the dances. Our volunteers and members really put a lot of hard work and effort to put on a great show for everybody.
Thank you so much. We've got 2 weeks of Folklorama. Can you believe it? 8:38. We're taking you to it's like I have food in my mouth right now. I'm so excited. We're taking you to the food.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
13 degrees right now, sunny outside, winds gusting west at 22 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 88%. So that wind has already increased and will increase throughout the day according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But looking at our currents right now across the province, Winnipeg, as I said, 13 degrees, Portage at 13 degrees, Dauphins gone up by 1 degree, 10 degrees this morning. 13 degrees in Morden and Winkler area, Kenora at 13 degrees, and Dauphin at 12 degrees. Looking up into Thompson, 11 degrees currently, Churchill at 11 degrees. They were experiencing some mist about 20 minutes ago, but according to Environment Climate Change Canada, that has cleared away. Lynn Lake at 11 degrees with Island Lake at 12 degrees as well. Looking at our satellite image, not too much to show you. We did have those early morning showers, but right now we don't have that on tap for us today. It's mostly going to be dry conditions for most of southern Manitoba. Northern Manitoba does have that 40% chance of precipitation in the later part of the day, so just keep that in mind. Tomorrow we do have that chance here in Winnipeg, but looking into our currents for what we have on tap, 20 degrees by the time it's 2 p.m. As I said, the winds will increase. The winds will be gusting west at 30 kilometers per hour. 5 p.m. it'll be 21 degrees, which is our high today. But again, we're going to experience this mix of sun and clouds. So it's going to be a beautiful day to go out, take a walk, check out some Folklorama pavilions if that's what you'd like to do on tap. Now looking into the rest of the week, as I said, tomorrow we do have that 60% chance of precipitation for most of southern Manitoba and that risk of thunderstorms in the late afternoon, so just keep that in mind. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Investors in Elon Musk's space company get a chance to question him Tuesday after SpaceX issues its first quarterly earnings since going public. SpaceX shares are down by half from their June peak as investors worry Musk may have oversold them on its future prospects. They're also bracing for volatile trading as some company insiders get the opportunity to sell shares after the expiration of what's known as a lockup provision later this week. Open Farm is working toward a potential initial public offering in Canada with Goldman Sachs and Royal Bank leading the way. The company had annual sales of more than 400 million as of the end of June and plans to raise as much as 400 million Canadian in an offering with an expected valuation between 1 and 2 billion Canadian. The U.S. Federal Communications Commission is drafting a ban on imports of some Chinese data center components, a move to protect American-made parts and prevent Chinese firms from installing malware or stealing data, Reuters said, citing people familiar with the plans. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&N Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
A Winnipegger's debut feature film is set to hit the festival circuit in the near future. It's a paranormal thriller set in a small town with something sinister lurking about. It's called A Minute Past Midnight, and filmmaker Brett Victor joins us now. Thanks so much for being here, Brett.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
First off, tell us a little bit about A Minute Past Midnight and how you came up with that idea.
Yeah, so AMPM is, the logline essentially is a paranormal content creator gets ousted by one of her fans for faking her videos. So she's kind of sidelined in that community and she's left with minimal options. So she decides to team up with a reputable true crime podcaster. And they, alongside the podcaster's cameraman, go to investigate the Invermore Manor, which has a bunch of lore surrounding the town. The idea came it came pretty recent to the writing of it. It wasn't something that I had been holding on to for years and years. A friend of mine who lives in Vancouver helped me write it. He's a graduate of Vancouver Film School, and we just wanted to try and test our skills in that genre, and we understand in that independent world it's a little easier to bring together a thriller horror type, so that's the direction we chose, and for the first one being the debut feature, and yeah, it just kind of all came together from there.
Very cool. Now, I love watching a movie, seeing a Manitoba landmark or a recognizable building pop up on screen. Where did you guys film?
Yeah, so we did a bit of urban. We never did anything inner city, but we were just outside of the city, just off of 59, right outside of La Jamodier. So that was relatively close to Winnipeg. And then we did a lot of rural in Dufresne, and we were out in Stonewall, which was where I went to high school, so got to go and see the roots grow there a bit more. And so we kept it rural, but all within Winnipeg and the surrounding areas.
Now, you've worked in the film industry for more than a decade on sets alongside actors like Woody Harrelson and Sean Penn. How do you think those experiences prepared you for your own project?
Yeah, those definitely, you know, I always said, because I was on set as a backgrounder and an actor back in the early days, and for me, I got a job doing stand-in for Peter Mooney on CBC's Burden of Truth because I looked like him, and I won't bore the audience, but you can Google what a stand-in does. And I just acted as a sponge in those moments, and I felt like, to me, it was, I always said I was going to film school but getting paid to do it in essence, so it really helped.
Manitoba's film industry continues to boom year over year. As an insider, why do you think that is?
We have good incentives. So our ITC's input tax credits they're not dominant, but they're very competitive. You can get up to 65% of eligible labor in Manitoba. There's another all-cost production, which has other incentives as well. So it's beneficial to film here. You know, the government wants the economy to boom to an extent in the film industry, and having people here filming gives that incentive to business owners and hotels and all that live out and such that comes along with crews. And yeah, I think the tax credit has been beneficial, and that's why we've seen Woody Harrelson and Sean Penn and these people come through from the States, so it's pretty promising.
And it gives local crew members a lot of opportunity to work and build their resumes. You mentioned festival circuit. When could people at home expect to see a minute past midnight?
Yeah, so right now it's in the festival circuit, and with that you kind of wait it out and you see if you do get in some festivals. From there you'll go to stream there, whether they want the initial preview or not, that's kind of up in the air, but do the festival, and then from there we'll see what types of distribution we may be able to get with that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, folks at home can look you up online. They can go to YouTube and watch a minute past midnight, that full trailer there. And thank you so much for joining us this morning, Brett, and all the best in the future.
I really appreciate it. Thank you kindly.
Very cool start to the day for us here in Winnipeg and most of the province, to be honest. It's 13 degrees currently right now, mostly sunny outside. Winds gusting west at 22 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 88%. So yes, very cool start to the day, and those cool temperatures are expected to be for the rest of the day, and this is just across the province. Right now in Portage, it's currently 13 degrees and mostly sunny. Brandon is mostly sunny as well at 10 degrees. Portage, 12 degrees, cloudy. The Pas, 13 degrees, cloudy, and Thompson is at 11 degrees, mostly cloudy according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, as well as Churchill, 11 degrees and mostly cloudy. They were experiencing some mist about 30 minutes ago, but that has cleared off. So very cool temperatures is what we have on tap. Most of southern Manitoba is going to have that mix of sun and clouds, with the sun's peeking through at most times, but just something to keep of note. We might have that rainfall tomorrow, 60% chance, but for the northern communities, that chance is 40%, and that's for today on tap for Churchill as well as Thompson, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. So just things to keep of note. Yes, we do have the sunshine and heat, but just grab that raincoat and umbrella just in case. And look at our beautiful pick of the day from Shelley. Love the sunflowers and the beautiful sunset. Please keep those pictures coming at Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Well, it's summer, of course, and the sun is shining. That's not only good for enjoying the warm days, of course. The sunlight can help generate electricity for your home or business. Now, to share more on how solar photovoltaic systems can help reduce your energy bill, we're joined now by Natalia Wozniak. Good morning, Natalia.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
This is a really interesting subject. Now, let's talk about these solar systems. How do they work?
Yes. So solar photovoltaic or solar PV systems use sunlight to generate electricity for your home or business. During the day, solar PV systems produce electricity that can help you, that you can use to power things like your lights, appliances, or electronics. Solar PV systems in Manitoba are connected to Manitoba Hydrogrid. That means when you produce more electricity than you need, extra energy can be sent back to the grid for credit on your energy bill.
Okay.
When you acquire more electricity than your system is producing, you simply draw it back from the grid. Overall, it's clean and renewable way to generate electricity that you can use to lower your energy bill over a long time.
That sounds great. Now, what are some of the benefits to installing a solar system like this?
Yes, so benefits is very important. One of the most important benefits is that solar PV systems can help you to lower your monthly energy bill. Also, it can lessen the impact of future rate increases, and it can deliver electricity to your home or business in a sustainable manner.
Lots of incentives there. Now let's chat a bit about how Efficiency Manitoba is making it easier for homeowners who are interested in solar.
Yes, so every home and business are different. So it's very important to find out if solar PV system is a good fit for your home and business. Before considering solar, we recommend people to make sure the home is energy efficient as possible. That means like adding things like insulation, energy efficient appliances, and using and upgrading your solar heating system is very important to reduce your monthly energy use. That means you will be able to install affordable and smaller system that's still meeting your energy needs. Once you're ready, we are here to help you to make an informed decision. Our website has lots of information and tools and resources to help you understand how solar works, what to consider, and if solar PV is a good fit for your home or business. Once you decide to move forward, we offer rebates for home and businesses connected to Manitoba Hydrogrid.
Perfect. Now you mentioned the website. Is that the best place for people to go who want to find out more information?
Yes, I recommend visiting our website at mbefficiency.ca/solar to find out more about solar, explore our resources, and to find out if you're eligible for our solar rebate.
Natalia, that all sounds fabulous. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
A young horse lover in southwest Ontario is rising through the ranks in the world of barrel racing.
Yeah, I want to see how far I can get and try to make a career out of it somehow and see where that goes.
13-year-old Hannah and her horse Ellie have spent the past 2 years running barrel races all over southern Ontario on the National Horse Association circuit. Recent results earned them a spot at the World Championships in Georgia earlier this month. She trains for several hours a day, 4 or 5 times a week, and as you heard, she hopes to go pro one day. And taking a look at Taché Avenue there, not a lot of traffic to pass along, but if you have any tips, pass them along. We'll be right back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg.
Sunshine on tap for us right now, 13 degrees. It's mostly sunny outside, winds gusting west at 22 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 88%. So yes, today we're going to experience that mix of sun and cloud for us on tap and mostly dry conditions for southern Manitoba. I do want to show you on our satellite image. There's not too much to show you besides this low pressure system that's been forming out in eastern Ontario. It has been clearing off for the rest of the morning, but they have been experiencing some light rain shower for this part of the morning. But looking for here in Winnipeg, what we have on tap, 21 degrees is going to be our high today, winds gusting west at 30 kilometers per hour, and we're going to have that mix of sun and cloud as I mentioned before, so it's going to be a beautiful dry day. The heat will pick up tomorrow, but overnight it's going to be nice and cool, 12 degrees, low winds gusting southwest at 15 kilometers per hour, and mostly a clear night. But looking into tomorrow, that's when the heat picks up. We're going to be at 26 degrees. We do, however, have that 60% chance of showers according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. Winds will be gusting west at 30 kilometers per hour, and we do have that risk of thunderstorms in the late afternoon. So just keep that in mind. Grab that raincoat umbrella just in case, because that temperature and that precipitation can change at any moment. Need the morning coffee, a bit distracted. But looking into the rest of our 5 days, it's mostly sunshine on tap for us. Mix of sun and cloud, those double digits. It's going to be those high temperatures, a great time to go outside. Enjoy the Folklorama pavilions if that's what you like. But again, 28, 21s, 24s, that's mostly what we have on tap here in Winnipeg.
Sherry Rollins is no longer running to secure a third term as city councillor for Fort Rouge East Fort Garry. Rollins has withdrawn from running in the upcoming municipal election. In a statement to CTV News, Rollins said public servants should not have to compete with the mayor's office that increasingly sidelines them and provides them with an executive leadership team that values compliance and not fearless advice. Rollins was first elected to council in 2018. She served on the mayor's executive policy committee until 2025 when she resigned from the role. Rollins joins a growing number of current councillors who are not seeking re-election. Janice Lukes, John Orlico, Brian Mays and Marcus Chambers have all previously announced they will not be running this fall. Winnipeggers go to the polls on October 28th. Provinces like Alberta and Ontario have either scrapped or reduced funding for safe consumption sites, but here in Manitoba, the first safe consumption site is officially opening this month to mixed reaction.
A safe consumption site that administers and offers safer supply is offering a message of hope and recovery to its consumers.
Manitoba's first supervised consumption site, created to address a growing overdose and drug crisis in Winnipeg, will provide drug testing and a safe space to use drugs with staff on hand. But the site is also running into some opposition. Joseph Foray is a former crystal meth user and heroin addict and has been in recovery for almost 7 years. For years, Foray lived around consumption sites in other provinces and says he saw firsthand the impact on people struggling with addiction in the community these sites were in.
It was actually the place where I got introduced to heroin, because this is where drug dealers would congregate, knowing that people visiting the site would need drugs to use.
The site will open on August 11th and will be operational on set times from Tuesday through Saturday, with the province saying this approach will provide Manitobans with a secure and controlled environment. The affordability crisis continues to impact Canadian families across our country. A new study shows a long list of financial pressure points, with grocery prices causing the most anxiety. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has the details.
He's 66 years old, living on a tight budget, and Stephen Hills can't believe how much he pays at the grocery store.
It's getting out of control, especially for seniors on fixed income.
Hannah Giffen has 2 young children. Filling this grocery cart with food for her family is never cheap.
Every time you go in, the prices seem to be higher.
A new national survey shows 76% of Canadians say the cost of food and groceries has the biggest impact on household finances. 47% say gas is a significant financial pressure, followed by mortgage and rent at 33%. Electricity, household maintenance, and repairs, along with home heating, are also causing high levels of anxiety for Canadians.
The magnitude of the impact of the cost of living on those daily pressures of groceries, gas, is really quite startling.
Over the past month, some food has dropped in price. However, pork, salmon, and apples are still expensive.
The food inflation rate is at 3.9%. It is the highest among G7 countries, but things are slowing down. We are seeing fewer pressure points as we speak right now.
Giffen says affordability issues are forcing young people to make difficult lifestyle decisions.
They want to have kids, but they're not going to have kids because how do you afford kids if you haven't bought a house already?
According to Chapman, if you add it all up, many Canadians feel an overwhelming level of financial despair.
People are really feeling this ongoing weariness with cost of living increases.
As those increases continue, Margaret Chapman says there's also a feeling that many Canadians do not anticipate any level of financial relief, and they fear high prices across the board are here to stay. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
All right, taking a look at that current traffic situation on the St. James Bridge. Moving well for a Tuesday morning. You can pass those tips along to us at 10-400. And taking a look at your gas prices here in Winnipeg, the average is $1.77 and the lowest price in the city is $1.56. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
All right, time now for your answers to our question of the day. What was the best part of your long weekend? Well, Marlene shared, my best part was dancing with my hubby and laying at beaches in Detroit Lakes. Kathy says Folklorama. For Ashley, it was camping with my daughter in my parents' backyard. Cheryl had a great barbecue with the best steak and all the trimmings shared with family. Louis took a trip to St. Malo to pick up a puppy. Mike shared the best part of the long weekend was being at the Icelandic Festival and having a birthday with my twin. We both turned 73. And Len says, I thoroughly enjoyed the trip to northern Manitoba with my lovely wife of more than 50 years. We loved seeing the kids and grandkids. Thank you all for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
CTV's Ainsley McPhail is live at Folklorama, and my favorite part of Folklorama is always the food, and you're getting a little peek at what's at the Pearl of the Orient Filipino Pavilion.
How could it not be your favorite part? Mine too. This feels like Mom's kitchen, right? Like it smells like it. That's the one thing that TV can't convey is just how amazing it smells. Looks like you're gonna have to come to the pavilion though. Jan, thank you so much for joining us. What is on the menu? Let's start here.
So over here are our 2 lumpia options. We've got on this side it's the vegetarian option, and the smaller, skinnier ones are the meat versions. So obviously really good. Moving over this way, we've got our very famous dish called chicken adobo, which is also always eaten with a bed of rice. Always a fan favorite. Moving over, I think it's clockwise, is another very famous dish called pancit. This can either be made vegetarian or with meat proteins. This one's got a little piece of chicken on it, so I guess it's not vegetarian. Moving over, we've got our desserts over here. We've got a pudding flavored with mango. We've got a bread version, sweet and buttery. That's called ensaimada. And then we've got 3 little egg tarts over here to finish it off. And then we've got our famous drink, sago with galuman. So it's tapioca balls and gelatin. Very famous, especially on the last few days of the festival. It's been so hot, and we like it make it really cold. So it's really, really good for hot days, for sure.
All right, I have a sweet tooth. What is inside these was? Is it stuffed with something, or is it just the softness of the bread?
So it's literally just bread. But a special,
no complaints.
Yeah, a special type of Filipino bread, but on top of it is sugar and butter. So your 2 most favorite things.
And love. And love. That's a big part about the kitchen, the Filipino kitchen.
Yeah. And I'd like to say, we did say good morning. We don't generally eat this for breakfast, but I have been known to eat it when it's the leftover from the night before. I'll eat it first thing in the morning. So.
You forgot one thing, a fork.
A fork. Got a spoon.
I guess we have a spoon.
We do.
I was just trying to throw them under the bus. This is amazing. These are smells that can, bring you to tears with all that nostalgia. You got to come to Folklorama. Tomorrow we're visiting another pavilion. You're going to have to tune in to find out.
Bring me back some lumpia, please. Desperately, please. And turning our attention to the roof, Tandy Vera's up there. It's a little bit of a cool start to the Tuesday, isn't it?
It is a cool start to the Tuesday, but I will say it's a nice break from that intense heat that we've been experiencing for the past couple of weeks. So it's shaping up to be a nice, beautiful day. 13 degrees right now, winds gusting west at 22 kilometers per hour. The pressure's rising and the humidity is sitting at 88%. So we're going to have this mixed bag of sun and clouds, and that's across the province. We're going to experience this. So it's going to be mostly very cool temperatures on tap. The highest across the province is 21 degrees, which will be the highest we have here in Winnipeg as well. I do want to note up for our northern communities, they might experience some light rainfall in the form of light precipitation of showers, maybe just some light rain. This is according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, 40% chance, and that's because of a low pressure system that's been forming out in eastern Ontario that might taper into parts of the north. For us here in southern Manitoba, we might experience that rainfall tomorrow, 60% chance, so just keep that of note when planning out your day. But for today, we're going to have these cool temperatures and mostly dry outside. Nice time to go out, take a walk, check out some Folklorama pavilions if that's your speed. But yes, very, very cool temperatures with that mix of sun and cloud. We are taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
WestJet says it will take several days for the airline to fully recover as the network gets back on track. That's left Canadians in limbo, with many of them still scrambling to find a way home. CTV's Camille Karamali has some of their stories.
The difference a day can make. These picket lines went from singing to silence. These WestJet ticket counters that were once quiet now in total chaos. Everyone battling for the hottest commodity here, WestJet airline tickets. For those that got them, relief to be able to go home.
It'd be nice to sleep in my own bed, have clean clothes.
But not everyone was so lucky. Even after striking flight attendants went back on the job today, many here still searching for a way home.
More than 900 WestJet flights were canceled over the weekend. According to a global aviation analytics company, more than half of those took place on Sunday, with over 300 cancellations today.
And that has left countless Canadians still stranded abroad. There's the Santos family. A layover in Iceland has now turned into a very expensive trip extension.
Right now, as it stands, we're adding another $4,000.
With no idea if their tentative flight back to Manitoba will go ahead tomorrow.
This is now the third time that our flight is being rescheduled.
The Peace family, stuck in Scotland, initially WestJet rebooked them with other airlines Sunday, but when they went to the airport, this happened.
Once we actually got to the airport, although we'd been rebooked, we hadn't been issued tickets. So once we visited those airlines, they actually had no knowledge that we were rebooked with them.
Then there's this Calgary couple in Mexico who were rebooked to return home today through California. The only problem is Mariana is a Mexican national and can't have a layover in the U.S. without a visa.
When you just auto rebook someone without maybe knowing what their limitations are for, entering countries, it makes it, snowball effect of problems that lead out of it.
So the advice from travel experts, pay for your own way back.
And then charge that ticket to WestJet, make them pay for it. If they don't pay it, then a judge will order them to pay it.
With these families out thousands of dollars, already exhausted, fighting to get home, now with another battle on their hands when they return, hoping to get some of their money back. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
It's been a hot summer, and chances are you've been using your vehicle's air conditioner almost every day. If your car has a stale or musty smell when you turn on your air conditioning, the problem could be hiding in your dashboard. CTV's Pat Forden reports.
Have you noticed an unpleasant smell coming from your car's air vents? Before you start searching under the seats for gym clothes or spilled food, the source may be something much more common.
What you're probably smelling is condensation from the evaporator inside your heating and cooling system. Basically, water collects in that area, and if it sits for long enough, it creates that musty smell.
Your vehicle's air conditioning system creates condensation. Most of that water drains underneath the car, which is why you may occasionally notice a small puddle beneath it. But if moisture lingers inside the evaporator housing, it can create the perfect environment for mold and bacteria to grow, causing odors every time you turn on the fan. Fortunately, fixing the problem doesn't require a trip to the repair shop. Start by opening the windows and setting the interior fan to a low speed. Then use a disinfectant spray such as Lysol or a cleaner specifically designed for automotive air conditioning systems. Spray it into the vehicle's fresh air intake, also known as the plenum.
The plenum can be found at the base of your windshield where the wipers are located. This is where the air comes from that goes into your heating and cooling system.
With the engine running and the fan turned on, spray the cleaner into both sides of the plenum intake. The ventilation system will pull the disinfectant through the ductwork, helping kill odor-causing bacteria and freshen the air inside the vehicle. Keep the windows open during the process to help air out the car. And if your vehicle has a cabin air filter, it's recommended to remove it before spraying the cleaner so the disinfectant can circulate more effectively through the system. Also consider replacing the filter altogether. A dirty cabin filter can restrict airflow, affect system performance, and contribute to unpleasant odors. And replacing it yourself can save you both time and money. Pat Foran, CTV News.
A young sailor is setting out to inspire more women to get out on the water. Jasmine Pernot will be the youngest skipper at a new offshore race in Quebec. CTV's Jean-Pierre Boschman introduces us to the teenager at the helm.
Jasmine Pernot is setting sail on an adventure and aiming to inspire women to get on board and lead in the racing world. The 17-year-old Quebecer will be the youngest skipper of a 7-member crew in a world where few women are at the helm. This for a 400 nautical mile competition spanning the Gulf of St. Lawrence and the estuary.
I want to prove that we can all do it. I got almost a
all-women crew beside Daniel.
Danielle Bérubé is an experienced sailor and instructor with Féminin Jeunesse. That's a program teaching teenage girls to sail to develop leadership skills and self-confidence. Pernod had never sailed before she enrolled at age 15. Bérubé taught her the ropes and saw she was strong-willed and a quick learner.
She just took charge of the boat. All I did, I was standing at the helm and she was going, okay, girls, fix this.
Bérubé and Pernod have since navigated almost 6,000 nautical miles together. And Bérubé will be Pernod's second in command on the inaugural Saint Laurent 400.
It's very technical on the St. Lawrence and also the commercial traffic. Choosing your best route with the currents is very hard.
Pernod has raised funds to pay for costs like renting a boat, docking fees, and says it's all worthwhile to experience the thrill and adventure of the sailing race.
Freedom, it brings me confidence. After that race, I will know that I can do it.
And after the race, she will launch a new chapter, enrolling in a maritime training school. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Vaudreuil-sur-le-Lac, Quebec.
13 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside. Winds gusting west at 22 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 88%. Looking at our satellite image, not much to show you, but looking at our currents for what we're going to expect for today, 14 degrees in Churchill with that slight chance of precipitation according to Environment Climate Change Canada. Thompson at 19 degrees and Island Lake at 17 degrees. Lynn Lake at 20 degrees with Flin Flon at 21 degrees and Norway House at 19 degrees. Across the province, we're going to be dealing with these very cool temperatures, including in Brandon with 21 degrees and Dauphin 21 degrees. Same for Swan River and Winnipeg, 21 degrees. So across the province, we're going to have this mixed bag of sun and cloud with a few areas like Barons River, which might experience some light precipitation at 19 degrees, Steinbach at 21 degrees and Portage at 21. Looking across into the east, Kenora at 19 degrees, Dryden at 20 degrees and Red Lake 18 degrees with that chance of precipitation. Looking into our 7-day forecast, as I said, our high today is going to be 21 degrees, so very cool start to the day. Tomorrow, 26 degrees, so the heat will pick up, but we do have that 60% chance of precipitation and that risk of thunderstorm. We're taking a break right now, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
All right, let's wrap things up with a few fun videos now. Tandy, one of the many great things about regular season baseball is the stuff commentators talk about during the dog days of the season.
You have never used shampoo? Never. In your life? Never. Not when you were a kid?
No, just a bar of soap in the shower. That's all I need. You use shampoo?
Yeah. Why? Doesn't everybody else?
I don't know.
I'm bald as they come, and even I use shampoo. That's Baltimore Orioles color commentator Ben McDonald admitting he has never ever used shampoo. His colleague Kevin Brown, as you can hear, is taken aback by this. Later on, McDonald said he'd use shampoo if the Orioles hit a grand slam in the game. They ended up losing 8-0, so he'll be sticking with the bar of soap. Interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
All right, and if you're hitting the dance floor this summer, here's a tip to get people to keep watching.
Pause. Just stop. It develops dramaticism. Watch me do it.
All right, all you have to do is pause. It adds a little drama to your dancing. Eva is a street dancer, but that's all for us, folks. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.